The way that history and myth are presented in our modern world has a way of sort of flattening out complex characters into two-dimensional caricatures of themselves. Take, for example, the banshee. Most people would consider a banshee a mid-level, generic, if somewhat boutique villain. But in the old Irish stories, they were a lot sadder than that. The word banshee comes from the word banshee, meaning woman of the fairy mounds, and traditionally, she wasn't a killer. In fact, certain ancient families were said to have a banshee bound to their bloodline in Ireland, and before death, she would appear somewhere beyond the house at night, keening in the darkness. Not a threat, a warning. Sometimes a beautiful young woman with long pale hair, and sometimes an old crone beside the river washing blood from grave clothes, but always mourning someone who had not yet died. And that's the key. The banshee was not screaming because she wanted your death. She was grieving because death was already on the way and she could see it before it got there. And I think that's why this myth endured for so long, because in some ways the banshee feels less like a spirit of death and more like grief arriving early, a physical manifestation of grief not yet experienced.